Over the years, Sega has introduced many characters into their Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Some of these characters have been total hits, like Shadow, whereas others have been significant misses. These characters are often irritating thanks to some sort of misguided character trait, or just flat out useless when it comes to battle, often making them a playable character that no one wants to bother with. So today we are taking a look at the latter factor with our list of the top 10 weakest Sonic characters. Let's get to it. At 10, Fang the Sniper. Fang the Sniper for a long time was a character that had fallen into obscurity. First debuting in Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, Fang was initially called Knack the Weasel. He was a treasure hunter who occupied the special stage and wanted to get his paws on the Chaos Emeralds to make himself a solid chunk of change. Known for being slick, sneaky, and mischievous, he tries his best to outwit others, but often fails thanks to his naivety. The character would disappear after 1996, never to be seen again as a playable character or a prominent NPC aside from appearing on a poster in the 2011 Sonic Generations and later in 2017 in Sonic Mania as an illusion. Moving on to number 9, Styx the Badger. Here's the thing with Styx the Badger. While her character is arguably redeemable in the Sonic Boom animated series, all of her video game appearances were lackluster. Critics described her as being an unlikable idiot, while others call her infantile. She also doesn't make a ton of video game appearances either. Now Styx is known for her survival skills, which are definitely an asset, but her primary skill in combat is using weapons, specifically a boomerang or archery. In the show, she is shown to be quite proficient with multiple weapons and martial arts, but in the games, Styx came off as rather lacking instead. And at 8, Sonic in water. Sonic is arguably the most powerful character in the Sonic franchise. I mean, he is the titular character after all. But despite his plethora of abilities and the range of deadly foes that he's fought in the past, there is one major weakness that the character has that is utterly undeniable. And no, we are not talking chili dogs. We are talking water. Anyone who has ever played any of the Sonic Sega Genesis games knows how absolutely nerve-wracking it is when Sonic is underwater, and the timer is counting down right before he runs out of air and drowns. It's the one thing that always manages to throw the blue blur off. Maybe someone should, tip Robotnik off about that, And at 7, all of the human characters. Okay, sure, this seems like a bit of a cop-out, we get it, but it is true. Take a look at the human characters who have appeared throughout both the Sonic video games and even some of the animated series, with the exception of Dr. Robotnik, that is. For example, Maria Robotnik, the sickly human who befriends Shadow, is the reason why the Hedgehog is kind of evil. Chris Thorndike from the Sonic X continuity is annoying as hell and often very unhelpful. And don't even get us started on Princess Elise. She basically exists to make all of us uncomfortable as she makes out with Sonic. And those who work for Gun, well, they use firearms. They don't really have any of the abilities that other Mobian creatures have. There's actually a fan theory that speculates the reason why Shadow the Hedgehog was created as a hedgehog in Sonic Adventure 2. It's because hedgehogs have innate abilities that humans lack, and can make use of the Chaos Emeralds. It's why Robotnik is constantly using the emeralds in machines that he builds rather than trying to use the power on his physical body. It's because in this world, humans are kinda weak. And at 6, Storm the Albatross. Storm the Albatross is known as 1/3 of the Babylon Rogues, a group of villains who work as avian thieves using their extreme gear to fly around. Storm and the Rogues have appeared in only 3 Sonic games: Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, and Sonic Free Riders. Storm is the muscle of the group, a big hulking albatross who is fiercely loyal to the group's leader Jet. But he is also incredibly dumb, with his intelligence levels being almost non-existent. The one advantage that Storm does have is his strength. He's a big guy. Shame he just doesn't have the brains to put the brawn to good use, especially if Jet isn't around. He can also go off the edge. If he gets too angry, he can get really violent and destructive. And at 5, Wave the Swallow. Wave is one of the other members of the Babylon Rogues. She's a swallow who acts as the team's mechanic. Her one saving grace is her technological savvy. She's the primary expert on extreme gear, with her knowledge even surpassing Tails. But that is pretty much all she can do. She's incredibly stubborn, and despite having a lot of confidence, she wouldn't be able to do much in a fight aside from speed away on her extreme gear, which, to be fair, is pretty darn fast at best. And at number 4, Jet the Hawk. Jet the Hawk might be the leader of the Babylon Rogues, but besides from running his mouth a whole lot and being quite talented at cheating his way to the top, Jet really does not have much going for him. He can't beat Sonic in a race without cheating, and his whole identity is pretty much just being a jerk. He's filled with pride and is technically a legacy racer, but tends to be hindered by his flaws often. Aside from knowing his way around extreme gear, he's pretty much useless. Moving on to number 3, Charmy B. Charmy B was one of the characters that debuted in Knuckles Chaotix, a title that introduced more anthropomorphic characters who Knuckles encountered on one of his solo journeys. Charmy, along with Vector and Espio, ends up forming the Chaotix Detective Agency, and out of all 3 of those characters, he's not only the most irritating, but also the most useless. Sure, he's skilled at tracking people, but aside from that, he doesn't offer much value on the battlefield. He can warp through flowers and find hidden objects, which, sure, as a detective is great, But when you're going up against the likes of Dr. Robotnik, you are going to need a whole lot more than that to help keep you afloat in battle. Moving on to number 2, Big the Cat. Big the Cat is often criticized as being one of the worst characters to ever exist in the Sonic franchise. Despite his large size and strength that comes with it, Big suffers from a similar situation as Storm, yet is arguably even dumber when it comes to intelligence levels. First appearing in the 1998 Sonic Adventure game, he was literally created as a character to justify the inclusion of a fishing game that had been conceived prior to the game's development. His whole story revolves around him trying to find and fish out his friend Froggy, and it's gone down as one of the most obnoxious storylines in the series' history. Often fans take shots at Big for the fact that he's really slow, he's quite obese, he's pretty much useless, and he's a one-dimensional character. The reception was so bad that Sonic Team, the development team that works on Sonic at Sega, decided after 2012 that Big the Cat would not appear in any Sonic games moving forward. That panned out, minus one small cameo in LEGO Dimensions. While Big the Cat may be the most disliked character on our list, he still has some brawn that makes him ever so slightly stronger than our next number. In at number 1, Cream the Rabbit. Cream the Rabbit was created specifically to connect to younger generations of gamers. Sega wanted a playable character designed for beginner players, and Cream was it. Since she's incredibly young, Sega didn't want her using offensive attacks, so they gave her Cheese the KO, who can use a KO attack against foes. The fear was that if Cream attacked her enemies, it would damage her image as a sweet girl character. Right. So, in other words, take away Cheese and she is completely useless. The childish and naive character often gets criticized for her high-pitched voice as well. Alright, there we have it, friends. What Sonic characters do you think are the weakest? What other characters do you think we should have included on our list? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more lists just like this one.